Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. The reason that I'm constantly coming to you, ladies and gentlemen, making these speeches to you, coming out of nowhere, making these speeches to you, is because I personally want you to be liberated. I want you to be free. Why am I so committed? The reason is because I can never be free until you are free. I can never be liberated until you're liberated. You see, the things that I would love to do in life requires that you are able to do likewise, whatever your choice is. That if anything hinders you for the benefit of me, then I'm the cause of the problem. I have a significant role in the problem. And so I don't move like that. I want mine free. In order for that to happen, yours got to be free. And so I'm constantly coming to you like the way I do. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I am a social scientist. I'm concerned about people. I'm concerned about situations of life. I'm concerned about outcomes. But more than that, I'm concerned about how to prescribe what one wants and how to get that. That's the most important thing to me. And grew up, like most of us, under some form of religion, some form of some superpower that is more significant and greater than all of ours as an individual, and some say even as a group. What I have done as a social scientist, ladies and gentlemen, is that I have studied most of all of the world's religions, not to remember them, not to know and be able to recall to you what they are. If you want to know that, that same material that was available to me is available to you. What I can tell you is that as good as each of them are, and especially for those people who adhere to it with their whole being, none of them are significant enough to meet the terms and the desires of what I call you the people, we the people. And so, since this is the case, I don't suggest that any of them are something to be followed, something to be practiced. I think that every last one of them desires to go a step higher. And I think that really every last one of them have been waiting for the time when they can step a little higher. And I think that there is no better time than that today. And what I'm basically saying that what good is a religion if it can't meet the needs, if it can't satisfy the wants and the desires of the people? And so when you're reaching out into that great wonder, searching for answers, you got to make sure that your heart is straight so that the answers you get are the answers that you really want. Those that give you life and give you the benefit of all of your dreams. And since none of those happened out there, then I ask myself, what is it that we the people desire? What is it that we the people want? What is it that we the people would require of any God? Number one would be survival. Survival. And that should be something easy to deal with without any opposition. All of us as human beings require it. That's food and clothing and shelter. Not a single one of us can go without that very long. And so it seems as if each of us having that and knowing more than we admit, we should be able to come up with a conclusion for that. But that's not all. If we want to grow, we need to be educated. We need education. It takes us to those places where others have gone and we didn't have to go there, but was able to use the benefit of their going so that it can help pave the road for where we go today. We need health care. From the womb to the tomb, not a single one of us would want to be without that. Now, these are some things that are common amongst every last one of us. Now, the resources for this have been given by a power we can't see, can't touch, can't feel. We know it didn't come from a pharaoh because they were human just like us. Didn't come from a Caesar, didn't come from a king or queen, didn't come from any of that. Came from a power that we can't see, can't touch, can't feel. But the evidence is here in all of the resources essential. Whether they're on the earth, in the earth, above the earth, whether they're seen or unseen, they're here. And by virtue of that same creative power that was able to create us and generate in us a capacity to desire, to reach out, especially governed and controlled by our needs and our wants, to have embedded in us a seed, something that when given the opportunity to do is the greatest thing that life has to offer for each and every one of us who knows what that is and get the opportunity to do it and step out and is doing it. But what has happened in this, ladies and gentlemen, is a program so designed that when each of us engage ourselves in that responsibility that has been given to us, that gives us our greatest pleasure in doing, each of those activities plays a major role in the finished product of what we're actually doing. And what is it that we're actually doing? We're creating goods and services necessary for the survival of the human race and all of the other abilities that we have that the human race can engage themselves in to add to the cream on the top of living in this life. That's what we are doing by following a different principle, a principle that allows this to happen. And every human being can take from this because it's theirs. They got ownership in it because they participated in the finished product. And so it belongs to all of the human beings. And ladies and gentlemen, it does not require any lying, any cheating, any stealing, any gambling, any crime and violence, any terrorism, any hatred, any racism, any bigotry. It doesn't require any of that. It doesn't require war. It doesn't require money. It doesn't require debt. It does not require loans and fees. It doesn't require any of that. Now, no other religion that I studied covered this ground to the extent that every human being on earth was covered. No religion, no nation of people, no what we might call race of people have ever, as far as I know, carried this ball on this path. Now, this is why I am saying, if what you believe in is not at least this compassionate, I'd forget it. I'd leave it alone. Because I'm sure you would not want to have a God that left you out. So I'll leave that there. So, with this information that I've just shared with you, ladies and gentlemen, it gives the whole nation a chance to reconsider the kinds of policies that we are associated with, whether they're good or whether they're bad. And to some they are good, and to some they are bad, which in itself is an indication that it is insufficient. It is a tool of division. It is a tool of the anti-truth. It is a tool of the anti-love. And seeing it for what it is, it should not be too hard for you to make the decision as to what role you're going to play. Are you going to play a role in giving the authority to the power of love? Or are we going to keep on doing what we're doing, perhaps because it's working for you? So working for you means if it's not working for someone else, tough luck. I can understand that. That is what you know. So it is incumbent upon those who are beyond that to set the example for you, not to be angry at you. Definitely don't like the decision that you're making, but understand that you're making that decision because in your path, walking in this life, this is where it has led you. It has led you right there. And there are some so deep on the other side of you till it makes what you do in your position looks great. I'm sure you have looked at it as being great, but now I want you to look at it aside true greatness. And what do you see? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I guess what I'm basically saying, it is time to take the United States out of the swamp. But it has been said that this is the most powerful nation on the face of the earth. It has said this nation reigns supreme on top of the earth, which means that out of all of the failures of the rest of the world, whether it's poverty, whether it's just crime, whether it's just nature, whatever the situation is, we being on top of the nation have the responsibility to take care of that. And we have failed to take care of that. In fact, like all nations, many of these nations are in the position that they're in because they have been exploited to make one nation great, a nation that calls itself powerful because it has the military might to squash or to wipe its resistors out from the face of the earth, which again indicates that it has nothing to do with the true God of love. It has to do with God man, God power with military might, God money. That's what all of that is about. And this is why I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that is not a path that you want for your children. That is not a path you want for your grandchildren. In fact, that is not a path that you want for your mothers and your fathers today. In fact, you don't even want that for yourselves. But I know you are afraid because this is all you know. And so by the power of love, you will get a chance real soon to grow. The mantle is before you. The seed has been planted. Is the ground ready to receive? Or are you ready? The USA must come out of the swamp and become a mother to every citizen within the United States, loving every last one of the children of the United States of America. And then taking what we've learned and how we've benefited from it and let that love overflow to our cousins that's on our borders and let it extend all across the globe. This is the new, I'm not calling this a religion, I'm calling this a way of life that has been placed on my heart. And I'm asking all the people on the face of the earth, whatever your religion is, I'm not asking you to denounce your religion. But what I am asking you to do is to play a part in making the world a beautiful place to be. Play a part in making living on this earth in these bodies beginning now and forever, if it can be, the greatest instrumentation of love that we as human beings can give from ourselves to one another. I'm asking you to join with me in that, and I don't think any of your gods would be offended. I can only think of one God, and that's a God who wants to be God and ain't God. And now that joker will be pissed. I mean, he'll really be pissed. Now you watch around and see who's pissed. And I rest my case. Bye-bye.